Teachers, and you're listening to Show X Live with Ken in a student accommodation all the way in Scotland, and Wade in his white windowless van? Uh-oh, I better get out of here. Enjoy the show!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Show X on VTWProductions.com. You're listening live at 2 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. GMT on this. What is it already? The 19th of October?
Oh,
man, this month, this year has been flying by faster than I could imagine. Oh, boy. Anyhow, as I drop things in the studio and start messing things up already at the beginning of the show, look how professional we are. But no, joined as always by our good friend Ken, but this is another one of our special show weeks as we have a guest with us today. We have the illustrious and wonderful Mr. Daryl Brewmaster, the Brew Guy. How are you doing,
everybody?
Sir?
I'm great. Thanks for having me. I don't know about illustrious, but I'll do my best to live up to the hype.
Musically inclined, the creative and hilarious Daryl Brew Guy.
Oh, wow. Now I feel even more pressure. But since you dropped something off the start there, actually that helped my nerves a little bit, so I feel pretty good.
You can see, yeah, because I do such a great job every week here to make sure to entertain everyone with my antics as a clown, I guess? No. But yes, we are joined by Mr. Brew Guy, one of our favorites in the music industry as we have, because you are a geek amongst us. There is no question about that.
That I can live up to. I feel good about that.
And don't worry, the word geek is a very proud title among us. We try to attain the title of geek each week. In fact,
it is the same here. It's been kind of more of a gradual build over here. Before it used to be kind of a bad thing, but really lately it's a badge of honor. So I'm very happy to wear that. I'll do my best.
That is good to hear.
Here. Yep. Yes, definitely. So I know I, for one, have been definitely trying to build up the title of geek for some time. However, I have never been, contesting in WoW Idol or anything like that, unlike somebody else on the show. So, but before we dive into everything, let's kick off into our first section, if you will, Maestro.
Yes, so let us start out things with a little bit of
functional deviations.
And so, dysfunctional deviations this week is going to be, like with all our guests, all about you, Mr. Brew Guy.
Jeez, now I'm all nervous again.
No, so one of the things, and it's funny because, I originally basically ran into you or go through the music side of things back in WoW Radio. And this is going from back in the day when we were doing what was the name of the contest back then? The one for Blizzard. It was their, the song one.
Forget it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like song contest or something like that.
Well, it was like Blizzard Idol or something like that. It was some kind of idol contest, whatever it was, the music thing.
Yeah.
But it was basically through submissions and working on songs around gaming. And so the first songs I ever heard of yours were ones talking about World of Warcraft. And it kind of that's where it first kicked in. In fact, I played in the intro. Hopefully people that are listening to the pre-show got to hear some of your music right then, and we'll play some more during the break. But I love to play the Ganker, right? Because that song, to me, that was like the song I always thought of when it came down to music from you and just playing games and playing World of Warcraft. Big part of it because, one, back in those WoW days, I played an undead rogue.
Nice.
so it just felt right for me to be like, the Ganker, hey!
So yeah, you're pretty much the guy I was thinking about.
So yeah, to me it's just huge to be able to hear that, and it made me chuckle every time to think, wow, this is really creative. You did such a good job capturing those elements of the game and what I'm enjoying about it in song. And so having that kind of listen to around just that soundtrack to your geek life is really a neat thing to have.
Thanks. Well, first off, I'm really glad you enjoyed it. And yeah, that's kind of the song that sort of kicked everything, this whole sort of, roller coaster ride, if you can call it that, off for me. Yeah, like you said, it was through the WoW Idol at WoW Radio where that all kind of got started.
That was it, yep.
And I when I first heard about it, I just thought I would submit something. I mean, I've been doing music is a hobby for me. It's something I really enjoy doing. I'm not really one of these guys who are really interested in prophet or anything like that, nor do I really think I'm good enough for that kind of thing. But I just have a good
Everybody
time
thinks
with
they're
it.
not good enough, though. So I think it's not your career then, this sort of thing.
No, not at all. No, if it was my career, I'd be a very poor man, I think. But,
You'd be a starving artist at that point.
yeah, exactly. I would fit the bill perfectly. Yeah, starving would be the, I think, optimum word there. But yeah, that's how it started. Yeah, when I submitted it, I was really kind of blown away at how well it did. And when I found out that it won, again, I was just kind of like, holy crap, no way! Like, how did this happen? And yeah, like, since when that happened, I mean, it was kind of funny. You had that sort of, I guess, minor celebrity feeling for a bit. Like, when I was online, I would, people would recognize my gamer tag, and they'd be like, "Hey, you're the WoW Idol," and I'm like, "I guess I am, yeah." Thanks. So I mean, it was pretty funny. I mean, it's a weird thing to kind of experience it, but at the same time, it was great. I'm just really glad that everybody got such a kick out of it. And actually, an interesting story. A couple of weeks after that happened, I actually so a friend of mine actually sent me a link to somebody who had made a video based on the song, completely on their own.
Yep.
Yeah, and so that completely blew my mind. I mean, I just sat there and with a big goofy grin on my face, going, "Wow, someone took the time to take that and put it all together," and it was amazing. So yeah, all in all, it's just been a lot of fun. I'm really glad everybody's having such a blast with it, and has had so much fun with it for this long. Again, it's kind of mind altering, to be honest. It's very very flattering. I'm not very good at talking about myself, really, but again, just blown away, just really happy and glad everyone likes it.
So, funnily enough, I'm looking back at My Name is a Newbie, 2009 WoW Idol finalist, and this is one you actually uploaded on your own channel, and I was looking down at the comments section, and I saw a comment from myself 5 years ago saying, "Fantastic."
Oh, you're kidding!
Yep, it's fantastic. I hope you keep producing WoW songs, is what I said. So there you go.
Nice. I hope I answered. I hope I didn't just.
Nope, you completely ignored me and it broke my heart.
Nice. See, there it already went to my head, man. See,
you're
all
all
it took is one song,
and
and the next thing you know, I forgot about the whole entourage bit. I didn't do that, but I just. I don't know. That's how fast your ego can rise, I guess. So hey, I can formally apologize on the show for being a jerk online. On
That's
YouTube.
the secret reason I got you on here. Honestly, it's the secret reason.
Just to confront you right now, to be like, see what you did to me? It was because of you I had to get into podcasting and to be able to rant and rave.
Right now, I've been holding this in for 5 years.
To make you feel even worse, when I was during the WoW Idol, I actually submitted something. I'm going to
Oh God.
admit on here. I actually submitted something. I have the lyrics stored in my Dropbox, I believe, to a song that was about the Lich King and Arthas.
Nice.
Wait, was this like
I didn't...
Was this a fanfic you were doing, Ken, or how did that come about?
No. It was I think it was who was it? It was Arthas's mum has got it going on. I was doing Stacey's mum cover by Fountains of Wayne.
That's so bad.
How did that not win?
I don't know.
Oh, you got robbed, dude. You got absolutely robbed. That's all I can say.
That's the second reason you're on. I want you to give me some creative advice about my music, which is incredibly bad, and I can't sing, and I play no instruments, so no.
Well, that's a tough starting point, but no. In all honesty, all I can really say is just have fun with it. Like, make sure you're enjoying what you're doing, right? Like, and that was kind of the key to mine. Is that when I'm doing it, I'm not trying to do it in a way that will specifically point to one certain type of listenership. I'm just kind of trying to put something together that one I like, that kind of makes me laugh, and that I hope will make. Most of my stuff is kind of is comedy based, but I want people
to have. Enjoying it anyway. That's the great thing about it, because it'd be horrible if you were doing it like feeling begrudged and you're only enjoying the final award. It's good that you can actually go through the whole process and enjoy that as well.
Oh, absolutely. That's kind of how I know. I think I have a song like when I feel good enough to put it out there, because I'm still nervous every time I do let something out for other people to listen to. And I do go through like a bit of an arduous process to, hey, does that sound right? Is this, is that lyric okay? Is my singing something that's going to make people want to bury their head in the sand? So when when you go through that process, and I find myself when I'm doing, like, for the Ganker is a good example actually, is that I'll be kind of laughing to myself as I'm doing it. So then at the when you get to the end of that process, you kind of know you've done something that that you like and enjoy, and so you feel much better about putting it out there and letting other people check it out.
Oh, that's cool. It's very cool. So I'm actually stalking through your YouTube channel just now, and I see you not put up much lately, and I have looked periodically over the years. So what happened to that? How come you're not doing stuff on a weekly basis for me? Why are you doing that?
Why aren't you serving me my needs? What is this?
I wish I had a definitive answer for that, really, other than I guess over the years, the group that I've played with have kind of slowly moved away from the game. They come back, they move away, and so while I still play, I'm still active. A lot of my friends are kind of in and out all the time, so occasionally I'll get an idea for something, but I don't know. I guess I've just never really thought about it to put it out there. I guess again, I don't really think of that channel as something that people would actually tune into to say, hey, has he done anything else? So really, that's the only explanation I have. I do try and throw some. There's that, and plus my video editing skills, as you've probably seen, are very, very bad. Bad is actually a compliment. I would say it's brutal. So that's why I should probably just stick to audio. But I usually upload stuff to SoundCloud or Last.fm, and I kind of do a mix of stuff there of my my older stuff, the stuff that I was doing before I really got into doing gaming stuff, and then the gaming stuff on top of that as well. So yeah, there's stuff there. Hopefully that will be something that you can enjoy for a while. But
yes,
I'll try. But now with this whole thing, I mean, it's so nice to know that people are still enjoying it and are actually looking for more. So with the new expansion coming out pretty soon, I'm hoping that I can start maybe adding a little more content.
Ooh, that's true. Yeah, you can say you can get some of those in there. You can really get into the whole like warlords aspect and have it.
Exactly.
Maybe do some like more, heavy like.
Get some as much metal as I can do. I guess.
Yeah. The return of the warlords.
Yeah, exactly. So I admit, like a couple of days before this show, like an idea of the return of the Ganker came to my head. I didn't have anything on that, but I'm like, hey, it's been long enough. It's a new expansion's coming out. More people are interested in it. Maybe it's time to sort of bring that back or at least try to anyway to see if people still enjoy it and if that's something that people might still get a kick out of. So no promises, but that could be something.
Well, if you ever need a platform to host some of your music or advertise it, even, we'll happily do that for you. Because, we love your stuff, and it's always good to have it on the station, on the show.
Oh, thanks again. I'll very happily send anything along just for your own listening pleasure. And if if it gets played, hey, bonus.
Special treatment.
That's right, exactly. Hey, absolutely. You guys had me on, so you should at least get some first dibs on, cutting-edge content, so...
Yeah,
ideal.
So a lot of your music has been based around World of Warcraft, because of course that's been a game that's been around forever, and it's been a real important part of so many people's lives. Have you branched out beyond that, or have you looked at some other games? Because I'm assuming, and I'll ask really directly, what other kind of games do you tend to play? Because there's few people I know that you play the only game, right? Where it may be your main, and that's the one that you spend all your time in, because you have a lot of history and a lot invested in it. But like, what are some of your other favorite games? And with that, are there any that have caught your interest where you might have thought, I need to make a song about this one, darn it?
It's funny, like musically, there aren't really that many other games that have really kicked in. I mean, other games that I've played, like I have played the Star Wars MMO quite a bit, and although I've kind of died off that a little recently, but that one's really tough because the music for Star Wars is so iconic. It's like I can't go anywhere near that. Like, are you kidding? I mean, if I tried, people would kill me. I mean. Me, John Williams, not going to work out. John Williams, just a little bit more mega talented. That guy's unbelievable.
You're always welcome to Bash, of course.
Yeah, exactly. So.
But
to sort of more answer your question, yeah, it's funny. I really haven't. It could be just because I played Warcraft for so long and are still playing it. I mean, going on 10 years now, which is still mind blowing to me. I still do a lot of console gaming, some PC gaming, but those games really, when it comes to time invested, like you said, don't even hold a candle to what I've put into WoW. I mean, it's not even close. So, yeah, I can't say I've thought of anything specifically, and I don't know why. Again, I guess it's just because of the time I've spent in WoW and I've had so much fun with and honestly just gotten such a good response from.
Definitely, yeah.
That it just encourages you to do more.
I would definitely. I would say that it seems like you're a PC gamer, and we're very glad to hear that. By the way, that's something we do highly encourage.
Master
But in
race.
the interest of full disclosure, I do do both. So I go both ways. I guess you could say.
Whoa, hey.
Well,
So just recently, in the last 3 or 4 months, I picked up a PS4 and I have to say I've been enjoying that a lot. It's been pretty solid. But I don't know, Warcraft is kind of it's always going to be my biggest love. I think I've just spent so much time with it. Still have fun with it to this day. And so I don't think that's ever going away. And yeah, I mean, when it comes to PC gaming as well, I mean, I don't do a lot of first-person shooters, mostly because I'm horrible at it, and
I am
just,
too. Don't worry.
Yeah, see the guy at the bottom of the list, 9 times out of 10, that's me. It's every single time.
You like to play games that you're good at?
Yeah, I know. Come on. Well, that I'm sort of good at anyway. At least, I mean, whenever I'm. Not too many people yell at me when I'm playing Warcraft, unless unless I screw something up. But I did tank for my first about 5 years of playing the game, and so I definitely received my share of.
I'm sure you got to hear a lot of that. Oh, why can't you maintain aggro? What do you?
Yeah, quite a lot of that. Why are you dead? And of course, then it just goes in a circle. So they yell at me, or the DPS yells at me, and so I say, well, the healers didn't heal me, and the healer's like, we were healing you. We had to cover the DPS. So it just goes in a vicious circle, and
always does.
Good times, right? It just never changes. And now it's just it's like the same thing, only doing an LFR or a flex rate. It's pretty much the same thing. But again, I don't know. Just something keeps bringing you back to it. Still good times, and you still get a sense of accomplishment, I guess, when you get to the end of an expansion and when you finish a big boss, or there's just still a genuine feeling of accomplishment there that I find I don't really get with a lot of other games. I don't know what it is. Just I guess just the time invested again.
Feels like
that you
home.
go forward. Yeah, it kind of does. That's the best way to put it, really.
Oh, I'm glad somebody feels that way, because so me and Wayne have been players of WoW for a very long time. Mm-hmm. In the past couple of years, Wayne has dropped off and kind of stayed away. I've gone back occasionally and said hi to my old characters, but that's about the extent. I've cancelled again the past week, actually, again.
Right.
That's the kind of extent it is for me. So it's nice to have a diehard WoW player, somebody who actually still enjoys as much as we used to. It's kind of refreshing. It's nice. I'm glad to see some people are still enjoying it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you just have to have a certain tolerance for pain in some things, right? I mean, the game is, and it's funny now, since they put in the latest patch, there's been bugs aplenty all over the place.
Oh, I
it's
can
been
imagine.
Pretty fun. But they're constantly updating it. There's been hot fixes, I think, every day since they've released it. So something changes literally daily at this point. But they're. You got to give Blizzard credit. They certainly pay attention, and they're probably certainly one of, if not the best, at supporting their communities and their games. I mean, they really that's one of the reasons the game's been around that long, is that they really don't kid around when it comes to that kind of thing. So, and it's the ultimate product. I think it shows.
Well, and you got to be
Definitely.
looking forward to future things with it now that they've gotten rid of all that nonsense time they've been spending trying to make Titan and brought all the real developers back to their main game. So, all the creative minds can come back to WoW.
It's funny because now that I think about it, when you mentioned about thinking about songs for other games and something like that, that could have been a whole new platform right there, right? For something that a lot of our friends kind of assumed that we would be pouring time into.
Yeah. Well, we assumed that we would have been like 5 years ago. But
yeah, it's true. Good point.
See, so there's the next song. It's like the Lament of Titan or something.
That's not a bad idea.
That's a good one, actually.
Come in there and kind of the whole
Wall of
the
Titan.
joys
Yeah,
and
exactly.
hopes you had with Titan. You could have this whole build as to like all the little rumors and things that you had about how that whole extra team, and after they got with Activision so they could pull all those people to maintain WoW and all the creative minds to go create this nice new beautiful shiny IP in space. and then how it all fell out of the sky, much like the mirror, and failed to deliver.
Shimmering for a while, and then just like shooting flare all the way down.
And then that last little line, that last little lyric could be in there talking about how, and now that they've all come back to their home, we can see that final the new shining future of WoW.
That's right. In space. That'll be the new expansion. Where else are they going to go?
Well, that was part of the first expansion, after all. That was the first expansion.
Well, no,
that's
the
true.
thing, right?
That is true. Technically, they did go in space. I guess I didn't really think of it as in space. But
well, you're there because they went to Outland, right? And they're going back to it essentially now. What it could be, though, is the next expansion can be they go to the Draenor homeworld. And so with that, you're now literally like, WoW in space!
Yeah, that's pretty much. I don't know. Somebody there has thought of that, or at least they should have if they did.
Well, then they could use whatever they came up with in Titan and actually get something out of it.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I would think that certainly not all of that effort would go to complete waste.
That they actually maybe created some kind of either tile sets or something during that entire time frame, that they didn't just sit around the table twiddling their thumbs and try to come up with something the whole time.
I almost kind of feel that the next expansion is going to have the word Titan in it just to make them feel a little better about the whole thing. Something of the Titan.
Something of the Titan. But... Or they'll mark it out Titan where it's like...
No, wait, no.
Yeah, wait, no.
Wait. That, or they'll spell it out, like all the words, the first letters will spell out Titan or something like that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's hard. I don't know. Teacher in the...
It'd be like...
Atmospheric...
the annual.
There it is. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
No, it doesn't make sense. And I don't know. I give up.
To be fair, there are already space goats in WoW. I mean,
that's
they
true.
came in a spaceship, the space goats, and then they landed in their spaceship, the space goats. That is. So, I think we've had enough space.
The real question is, where is my space goat mount? I mean, come on.
Hey, if you can get a flaming corgi or whatever it is, there's no reason you shouldn't be able to get a space goat.
Absolutely, come on. I mean, if you're gonna fly around the stars, you might as well do it in style, right? I mean,
well, maybe you guys want to mount a space. Anyway,
whoa, hey.
So, according to your last FM profile, I don't know why, but at the side of it, Mr. Brew Guy, it says Endrada listens to this song a lot to the ganker. I went and looked at his profile. This 25-year-old male from Romania, has listened to your song like 700 times by himself.
Wow. Well, yeah. I guess I've got my demographic down. Yeah.
I mean, he listens to you and Ailstorm. Do you think there's some kind of link there? Aren't they the
no idea at all. But
Ailstorm.
Wow, 700 times. That's a little mind blowing.
Yeah, they're from Scotland. They're a heavy metal band, pirate metal band from Scotland. So
wow, nice. Maybe they're going to cover the ganker at some point. That would be amazing.
Maybe. So you guys have that in common. That one guy likes listening to both of you.
Nice. Good to know.
Yourself and pirate metal. There you go. I was just stalking around and found that, so I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, this is what Ken does. If you have anything embarrassing on the internet while interviewing, you may get to talk about it yet again here.
Yes.
Oh, there's well, I don't know. Half the time when I put a song out, and I'm sure it's going to end up embarrassing me in one way or another.
Don't worry. I think we all know the feel. Hey, we've recorded ourselves for like literally almost 1,000 hours of podcasting. How many stupid things do you think we've said on here? We've said you can record a compilation of
hours?
Like embarrassing moments. Bad. It's not good. It's not good.
Let's say about 800 hours of it. Yeah. So we do have some questions coming into us from our IRC.
Yeah.
So
cool,
as everyone who is listening in live and hopefully joining in on the video wall, so you can watch all of our lovely faces and comment on the things we will. But coming to us is Miss Pusa from Denmark, and as though she says it multiple times, and so it says, "Don't let him know," but I'm still going to say it. It says, "Please don't tell him that I moved when Flame Wreath was cast and the raid blew up.
Oh,
I'm still ashamed."
Didn't. No, you didn't. Wow. You had one job. Just one. And yet it didn't involve doing anything. All you had to do was stand still. Oh well. So that hopefully then, nice segue into the Shade of Iran chant, but must remember that you shall not move when Flame Wreath is cast or the raid blows up.
I think
Yes.
we found one of our music break songs, FYI.
You may come back. Everyone might be kind of asleep or in a trance or something like that. I don't know, but
I absolutely love that song, FYI. I thought that was absolutely fantastic. You really jumped onto the fact that people were stupid, and I like that.
it's funny. That wasn't the first one I actually did. Was funny enough about something stupid that I did, which was back during Blackwing Layer days, and I was tanking. And back then, of course, you had gear that had fire resist on it, and lo and behold, so there was, we were raiding one day and we got the fire maw, and for some, I kept dying, and nobody could figure it out, and the answer was I was not wearing my fire resist gear.
No.
So yeah, so there's like 2 hours of people's time going. Yeah, I was. Yeah, my bad.
The tank keeps dying, and I don't know why. It's the
What's going on? I'm healing the crap out of them. I mean, I got no mana left. What else can I do? Yeah, that's on me.
I did the exact same thing for about 3 wipes in Ulduar.
Yes.
I was also the tank, Death Knight tank, and I was holding a fishing rod.
I don't know why I can't maintain aggro. I keep
Don't
just
get it. Well,
beating
why
on
is
it.
just, why am I doing 7?
People were like scanning me. They were like checking my presence and they were checking my equipment. They didn't once look at my weapon because they thought.
So you got away with it that long?
Like, here, have this flask, have this potion, have this feast. It'll be fine.
Oh no, that is so bad.
There you go. So yeah, it happens to the best of us. So to all you healers out there, cut us a break. We're doing a tough job.
We're sorry.
Yeah, we apologize. It's nothing personal. It's just just business. Sometimes you make mistakes, but anyway, to make a long story short, long story short, I should say, that's the first chant I did was a chant about Firemaw, mostly to myself, saying I must put my fire resist gear on when fighting firemen. And so anyway, that ended up leading to the Shade of Ram, because again, everyone was having the same problem, that they just couldn't grasp the concept that you actually weren't supposed to move, and including myself. I'm not, more than once I'm sure I've blown the raid up. So yeah, that's what led to that. And it's actually interesting story about that too, is that when I first did that and I put it on, somebody convinced me, you should put this on the WoW forums. People might really dig it. So that's what I did. And then, a couple of days later, I get a phone call from my buddy, and he's like, you got to take that down. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like, dude, like it's spawning everywhere. It's all over the place. So I had stored the file on just my own server.
Okay.
So basically, my monthly bandwidth disappeared in about a day and a half. So I was like, oh man, it's quick. So yeah, so I quickly made an adjustment and managed to host it somewhere where I didn't have to pay for the bandwidth.
Yes.
But yeah, that was an expensive month. Let me tell you, that was certainly wasn't too bad, but it was at least, if I remember right, it was at least $200 or $300 that I had to shell out for that. But
You're lucky.
Oh, well.
If you waited 2 more days before noticing, that could have doubled or tripled. Man.
yeah,
That
like
would have
thank God
been
they called
crazy.
me, or else I'd be back to starving artist for sure, no matter what I'm doing. But yeah, so that was pretty funny. But yeah, again, really surprised at how that took off, and it was actually. I really enjoyed how it served as a tool for those people to actually, hey, listen to this and get yourself in this kind of zen-like state.
Oh, nice.
And don't stand there. Stand still. Just don't move when flame leaps. That's all you have to remember.
That's impressive.
So yeah, exactly. So then
That's very cool.
I can't remember where I originally stored it, but anyway, it ended up on YTM&D, and ended up going #1 there, which again shocked the heck out of me. But again, not to go on and on, but just really thrilled.
MTD. That's really cool. That's actually
I was
very impressive.
surprised. I remember sitting there with I was just instant messaging with a friend of mine, and it was a grad. Like it first appeared around #9. I'm like, dude, you're on the front page. I'm like, what are you talking about? And so 9753, and then one day it was #1, and I couldn't believe it. So it was cool. Although if you really wanted some solid entertainment, because some people were really, really unhappy about the fact that there was a Warcraft thing at the #1 at YTM&D. So if you go to the comments of that particular YTM&D, there is some pretty unbelievably scathing stuff there, which I love to death. I mean, it entertained me to
Oh,
no
that's
doubt. But to
fantastic.
this day, some of my friends will call me some of that stuff just to just to rip
You
me
know
about
you're
it.
doing well on the internet if people hate you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna
exactly.
say,
That's
if
right.
people- if
People are
people-
upset, you're doing something right.
Yep, when they spend that much
Definitely.
effort to try to hate, then you're doing
So
something
to
right.
make an account to log in and to hate on you, you must have made an impression, man. That's
I
good.
guess
That's
I did.
good.
Yeah, it's like, wow, they really don't like this. It was amazing. And so actually, it was a couple of years later, actually, that somebody, not myself, actually sponsored it. So I spent $10 of their own money to put it up on the front side again, and then it started all over again. It was incredible. So I don't know who that
nice.
was, but
Thank you.
I would
Thank you,
gladly.
whoever you are,
Yeah, but
mysterious
thank you,
donor.
because I got a ton of entertainment out of that. That was wonderful.
Oh, it's good to hear that you were at least able to keep it to that level where you understood that there are all the internet trolls out there, and so you could make fun and enjoy yourself with that versus going down the path of like, oh, they don't like me. 'Cause-
Yeah, the rule number one in the internet is you can't take those kind of things personally, or your head will explode. There's
I was
just
gonna say,
too
otherwise
much.
you're doomed to a poor
Yeah,
existence.
I think
exactly.
everybody comes across trolls somewhere in their life, and you just have to
Absolutely. I wish that wasn't the case, but it is, and fortunately, you got to have a good sense of humor about that kind of stuff, and
Definitely.
yeah.
So we have some more questions from the IRC, and I will
Fire
steal this
away.
one. Mr. Wayne, is there any WoW song that you wish you had made? So I think they're point towards things like Cranius and because I know I'm a big fan of Cranius as well.
There was one song, and it's funny that I heard during the third season of WoW Idol. It happened at least 3 times, and I had won the first 2. And the third one, there was a rap done by an artist.
by Fatty.
By Fatty.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember the name of it. I think it was Nerdcore, I believe, if I remember right.
Yes.
And I listened to that, and I was just like,
Yep.
I knew instantly that it was over. Like,
Yeah, you hear that, you're just like, yep.
it's, as much as I would love, I was going for, I wanted the 3-peat just for fun. I honestly, during the first 20 seconds of that, I knew instantly that the dream was over. So, that was just a fantastic tune. I wish that I had, had the skill to do something like that. I'm certainly, God, me rapping is like, I don't know, putting a dress on a pig, basically. But, but just the whole skill, the way that was done, but not just the song itself, but
Yeah.
the song was so well done, well engineered. The sound was fantastic, and I was just like, how did she do that? Oh my God, I want to get tips from her. She's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So that's the first one that comes to my mind, and it rightfully
good-
won that year, and it just really showed that the level of talent that some people have, and they pour their heart and souls into that kind of stuff, and
Dude,
it's so
what
impressive
you-
to see.
What you did was absolutely amazing with the music you've done as well. But the sheer difference, we were all expecting something similar, but the fact that it was nerdcore rap.
It was,
just so
she almost
unexpected.
invented a genre, right? Like it's
Yeah.
how do you?
She really did.
Yeah, it was like not only incredibly original, but incredibly well done. I mean, it's just a really, really high quality. Forget even the fact that it's gaming related. It's just a super high quality piece of music right from top to bottom. So,
And I felt cut from the lyrics, to be honest. I mean, the way that she just brutalized everybody, I was like, oh man. So I think I left a different type of emotion. Yours is very warming and like, oh, I can relate to this. Hers is sort of like, ow.
Yeah, if I remember
bad
right.
WoW tendencies.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, because I kind of gone that way when I did the ganker, right? That was everybody can relate to that. That was kind of one of the reasons that I did it.
Definitely,
Certainly,
yeah.
everybody has experienced the not fun feeling of getting ganked, and some, of course, have done it themselves. But
It was nice that you went from the look of the ganking person rather than the opposite, because I know personally my experiences are the opposite, of being ganked. So I'd want to write a song about being ganked and how I hate you, guy, you suck. But, hey, that's not an idea for you. Maybe you could do a response song to that one.
Yeah.
yeah, that's not a bad idea.
The
either,
plight of the
actually.
Genki.
Exactly. Please don't hurt me anymore.
You could do it to REM. What's the song called?
Oh god.
Everybody ganks. There
Everybody-
you go. It's okay. Don't take it personally. That's fantastic. That might have to happen.
Everybody gets
that.
ganked sometime.
That's brilliant. Yeah, that may.
Oh,
I can't,
dude,
I don't know if I can sing that high, but I can certainly try.
Oh man, that would make me so happy. Oh my god.
That one's going in the memory bank for sure.
Oh,
Excellent.
definitely. Okay. So, moving away, we have a couple other questions. This one also from Pusser. Which mount was your first mount? And I think it means in the game.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, exactly.
Well,
My very God, going back. I guess the very first one. Oh, I was a Tauren back then, so it was a Kodo. It was which I remember what color it was. But yeah, for the longest time, I was just totally the stereotypical Tauren, just hauling around on big ass Kodo, going everywhere. And yeah, I think that was my first one. And I think it's funny. I was looking at now one of the additions that they did with the patch is that you can choose your favorite mounts, and it'll pick one randomly whenever you mount up, which is it's a really neat feature, and it automatically kind of figures out whether you need a land mount or an air mount, so it picks specifically between the two. And so I think now I'm up to something like 86 or something like that, and and it's funny because I'm like, how the hell? I looked at the numbers, like, how the hell did I get 86 mounts? It's impossible. How the heck did I do that? And then I was talking to a buddy of mine at work actually, and he's got something like 170. So, I can't even remember the number.
Wow.
Like, how? Like, oh my God, sir, how did that happen? But yeah, I do have, Tauren was my first character. I was a protection spec warrior, so I was tanking the hard way, and it was so yeah, have the Kodo working, and really I don't know. I've always, now that I've getting ready for the expansion, it's been the whole 10-year thing. I've actually changed my current character back to a Tauren to sort of
nice. Back to your roots kind of thing.
Yeah, go for a circle. I'm not tanking again. I'm not going that far. But yeah, it's just sort of a remind me of because that's where I started the game. So that's where some of your strongest feelings are always with your first character.
Of course.
So.
Yeah.
yes, I unfortunately can attest to that because even though I've been adamantly away from WoW for years now, like avoiding it with a plague. I was down at a friend of mine's house when we were training, and he just happened to have had the patch preloaded up, and when it had just dropped, and it's like, oh yeah, so it's installed. You should check it out, and started like playing. And it doesn't hurt that he's playing on like a 30-something inch television. That's his desktop monitor.
Oh yeah.
So it's just sitting right there, massive thing in front of you, and he's showing off all the character models and stuff, and it's just like, yeah, it looks better. Yeah, I see that. He's running around in the world.
Are excellent. Yeah, they've done a super good job.
Yeah, and he was showing us like, see, humans actually look like humans now, not these big meat cleaver-handed, weird polygon things. And
I wouldn't know about that because mostly humans are kind of underneath my feet. So
yes.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I was a horde, so they were.
Come on, what's wrong with you?
They were targets. But so he's going through that and kind of showing stuff, and I was like, yeah, it does look pretty, and it just tingled. That little back of the nostalgia cortex or something in the brain. Where it was like, oh, okay, yeah. And then I was like, and no, not going. And I mean, I even got to the point where I started like watching video on it a little bit and thinking, how big an no, not going back.
Well, I think the amount of subscribers has actually increased. Once going into this patch, I think they were up to, I think it's 7.5 million. I'm not sure if that number's right or not.
Well, so what was their minimum they had dropped back down to after their peaks was somewhere around 7 million was where they were kind of sitting at an average.
Yeah, something like that.
And they said they had a decent percentage uptick with the announcement of the newest patch, and with the expansion, and now that the new patch has gone live, they've been seeing a steady increase recently. And I would say it's probably a lot of word of mouth, and same kind of thing that happened to me when I had first come back. After a few of the things was for Cataclysm, just real quick, because, okay, you're doing this massive change, and I was at BlizzCon when they had done the announcement for Cataclysm and such, so of course I still had that little bit of like, yeah, that looked cool. And so actually going out and seeing it, I was like, oh, awesome, all right, be a part of this. And then, quickly lost interest again, but at least it got me to resub for a minute, if you will. to get back into the game, just check it out.
I'm sure some of it will go down again, but once the actual new expansion comes out, I'm sure they'll surge for some time again, as they always tend to do, and they will rejoice in the money and create a golden Death Star in the sky, and so on and so forth.
I'm still ready.
I completely agree. But yeah, I think everything that they've done, really, from the time that they announced Warlords of Draenor to now, into where it's almost ready to come out, they're really, really trying to get people to come back. The whole patch should have just, screamed, "Please come back!"
Look, we're rebooting so many things.
Exactly,
we're
going changing
back
all
to
those
the
things that
day.
you used to complain about. It's all fine now. You should totally come back and hang out.
Yeah, I was happy to see actually today. I was on YouTube and I saw the trailer for it, and I clicked on it. I was like, I'll have a look. And the top liked comment was somebody saying, "I love the fact that dungeons are no longer just like run in and win. Now you actually have to think again, and now there's actual tactics again." And I just went, "Oh, that's the number one thing for me coming back ever." Oh,
it's very true, and people, it's funny, are finding that out the hard way. Let me tell you, because
I'm glad.
first time we did Upper Blackrock, and man, people just, hey, this is no problem. I'm gonna run in and grab the guys from the little pods, and like, wow, did that not go well? And so yeah, you actually have to take the time and figure things out. And it's really, it's the same in the raids. Not so much for LFR. That's still kind of a face roll, but the flex stuff is, you really do have to pay attention. You have to know the fights. You have to execute to a point where if you make a major mistake, you're pretty much done. So that part of it is good. I mean, there's been a lot of good fixing to the classes too. I've recently been playing a monk, which I'm really, really enjoying the heck out of. I mean, totally. Oh, I love it. I think that's probably their most well-rounded class. I mean, it is the last one they did, so that makes sense. But they just really did it right. I mean, even tanking with it, when I first started playing it, this was I guess about a year ago, did a little bit of tanking just to sort of compare it to the warrior tanking, and oh my god, it was so much easier, so much more enjoyable. The actual DPS it's hard to explain. It actually kind of feels a little bit like you're doing a bit of kung fu. I don't know, like it's one move after the other.
They've done something very unique with the monk class in that they captured kind of that element of being a little more interactive in how you play the character, and how constantly it's doing the different things and the different roles you can play with a monk. That a lot of my friends who've played it, or most of them are very much into martial arts anyways, but in doing so, they really do like the monk. They're like, no, it's nice. You play it, you really feel like you're kicking people's butts and you're doing all the things that you want to do to feel like you're a martial artist, that you're not just standing there like banging a shield or something. That's very much true. Like there's I don't know, like there's a really well put together kind of spiritual feeling with the monk. I don't know how to explain it, but it's, again, my interest. I wish I could say I'm a black belt like Wayne, but I'm not. But I mean,
I'll have you guys know,
I've loved martial arts movies since I was a kid. So any movie like that, it doesn't matter when it was made, I can sit down and just watch it and enjoy it. So I've always enjoyed that kind of spiritual side of those types of movies. It's just fun. So to experience that in WoW has been great. And then with the changes they've made in 6.0, my secondary spec was healing, and monk healing was kind of a bit of a disjointed thing. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it was very different. It was very much a lot of heals over time, very different from pretty much any other style of healing that I was familiar with anyway. So in 6.0, what they've done is, and I think they've done this more across the board, not just with monks, but everything is much more direct healing now. Like AoE healing is still there, but it's not nearly as effective as it used to be. So in the kind of times where you just hope you could stack up and let the AoE heal save you, that's not going to work anymore. So you really have to. It's much more active. You really have to keep an eye on the guys that you're healing. So raid healing certainly is much more interesting. But I find certainly for the monk in particular, they've really, really fixed that up. It's very, very fun. Plus, you can still have that feeling of doing damage because you have the two stances now in the healing class, so you can actually
do something about it.
So you can sit back and do healing like normal, or you can get up there and do a little damage and start throwing some big torn feet in guys' faces. It's great.
That's good.
So anyway,
so I have a couple more questions, so we'll get to them soon. But you were mentioning the fact, we said the Wayne's a black belt, we're talking monks. I'll have you guys know that I got my Lean Six Sigma yellow belt training done this week. So.
You are like a corporate. I don't know. I was gonna try. You said yellow belt, but like I'm trying to say something above a noob. Are you a corporate plebe now?
That a brown nose belt, It's
I love that one. I'll tell all the guys that I'll tell all the guys around the water cooler that one tomorrow.
Great. Don't give them my name, or else I'm gonna be in big trouble.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Six Sigma. Yeah.
Yes. Don't even get me started. So a couple more things from the IRC. We had the question about the mount, and then we had one from somebody else. One from Cupcheck. Two actually. First of all, he says, "What's up?" I assume this is somebody else in chat, but it could be to you.
What's up with you? Thanks for coming out.
Nice.
There you go. He also asks, "What's your favorite artist growing up?" And I assume he means musical.
Favorite musical artist growing up? That is a tough one, man. This is, you guys will laugh at this. I was actually raised very heavily by my father on John Denver, believe it or not.
Hey.
So right there, I think my cool points have started to sink. But
I must be really cool because I just had to Google who he is. So
there you go. So.
Come on, Ken, Rocky Mountain High.
That's who I was raised with, but I guess now who was my... I guess growing up, actually, one guy I was really inspired by was David Foster. He's more of a producer, but he produced We Are the World with Lionel Richie and those guys, and he was responsible for a lot of Canadian content. Like I guess he did stuff with Anne Murray, did a bunch of other stuff. I wish I could list off his credentials, but he's a guy. If you Google him, you'll see his list of credentials is a mile long. He's done a ton of stuff that he wrote, I believe, some of the music for when the Winter Olympics were in Calgary. Mm-hmm. He wrote the Winter Olympics theme for the games that year. I remember that. So he was just an amazing kind of composer. I remember watching. There was a documentary did on how they made that whole. The We Are the World and how they brought everybody together, both Canadian and American talents to do that, and that covered. It showed some of the way that he prepared or tried to come up with ideas about songs, and he'd be sitting there and be in his car and he'd have a little tape recorder and he'd be kind of trying to hum certain bars or verses into his recorder to try and to remember them. Which I found very interesting because certainly when I think of or I come up with an idea for a song, it happens very quickly. So I find I have to either get that down and record something relatively fast or it's going to be gone. So and it doesn't necessarily have to be a lyric. It can be just a song or a certain part.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
And if I find my best ideas come from that. So when I get it down, it's just like, oh, geez, all right, what the hell's my keyboard? I need to get something down real fast. I guess I have a bit of a similarity with the way that he kind of does. His is a little more deliberate and a hell of a lot better. But I'd say he's probably my earliest influence, I would say.
That's cool. Very cool to hear that. Just out of curiosity, Wayne, just a quick answer. What would you say was the thing you listened to as a kid?
Oh gosh, as a kid? So the thing I always tell people is the song that I remember the most from my childhood, because it was the first 45, yes kids, 45 for those that don't understand, is an old record format, and it was the revolutions per minute that you had to play it at for it to sound appropriate.
45, not 78, 45.
Yes, 45, and not 30. What was the other one? Like 32 or something like that. There was a slower one as well.
Lower one.
But so an old 45 record, is this analog device, had little like divots in it and such that a needle dragged across, very archaic, no lasers or anything, and that it would just produce the sound based on what it vibrated that little needle off. It was surprisingly effective. So the first one that we ever had that my brother would always play, and the record player was in my room as a kid, and so he'd have to come in and play it, was Centerfold by Jay Giles Band. And so I just remember that forever kind of growing up because that was like the one song I could grab and keep playing because this was before the time frame of audio cassettes. And I know that too is some of these foreign weird devices that you might not recognize, Ken. But
I know what tapes were, thank you very much. I knew that. I grew up with those. And then I moved on to CDs.
We won't throw 8-tracks at him because that'll just blow his mind.
I know,
He
the whole
won't even
idea
go
of a tape that had multiple track charts, I only had like maybe 4 songs on it.
So the very first record I ever bought was called Star Tracks. It was a compilation like of all the way they do these days. So that and it had songs that had like "Born in the USA" by Springsteen. It had "Straight from the Heart" by Bryan Adams.
First ever song on CD, by the way. Born in the
really?
USA.
No, I did not know that.
So, computing science degree. That's all I learned.
What else was on that thing? Electric Avenue was on there, and a bunch of other songs. But yeah.
Those are great.
So I'll always, every time I hear one of those songs, I always end up thinking of that record.
That's cool. That's very cool. I think I grew up with. So I went on holiday with my parents and my auntie and her son. I think when I was a kid, and I got a fever while in this very hot country somewhere in Europe, wherever it was. I think it might have been Greece or Spain, and. So I was inside the whole day, and my auntie offered to look after me, and so she put on a CD, and to try and cheer me up and let me go to sleep. And it was Mike Oldfield's Tubular Bells. And since then, Mike Oldfield's been probably one of my highest favorite artists ever. And I know it's weird because it's new age. I don't like any other new age stuff because it has. I think it's something to do with that like the fact that it was the first ever music I liked. It just went into my mind, and that was it forever. Anyway. I'm sorry to deviate from the whole interview thing going on.
Not at all.
And discuss Mike Oldfield. It sounds like you could have been or are a fan of Weird Al Yankovic.
Very, very much so. Absolutely. I was very happy that his when his latest album hit #1 on Billboard. I was exactly that. I was just. Like finally a right has been done in the musical world, and
yes,
there was a video, I forget what show he was on, where they actually informed him of that, and you could just see how, he just got a little choked up and a little emotional and
caught him off guard.
Yeah, he was just honestly, I was the happiest guy in the world. I was just bouncing up and down, going like, yeah, that's the way it's done.
Yes.
So yeah, always been a huge fan of his. His talent is unbelievable. Not just, and it's funny, like speaking just as someone who makes music, not only is his stuff hilarious, like his lyrics and stuff are really well done, but the amount of detail that he goes into when he's recreating one of these songs is unbelievable. He because I'll listen specifically for small things that maybe somebody else doesn't necessarily listen to, and it's there every single time. He's so respectful of the music that he's covering. Oh yeah. And he wants to do such a good job with it that that's just even more of a reason to be a fan of the guy. He's really, really amazing.
Well, his talent is so superseded over what a lot of people do with just parody type music, because to the point where my favorite off the new album for him is Word Crimes.
Yes, Word Crimes is fantastic.
Yeah, not only does it fit the music so well and the tempo and everything else, I was just able to capture all that. The message he tells with it. And it's so accurate and well thought out as to how he's trying to tell people, use the English language correctly, please.
Absolutely. God knows if you spend any time on the internet that we, I think
have thrown that completely out. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, the texting culture that we've turned into.
It's amazing. Somebody actually told me that, I'm not sure if this is a Canadian thing or not, that they've actually stopped teaching writing in school now. In some places.
I've heard that in some places, even in the U.S., because it's one of those things I've talked about recently. It's funny because I have this discussion or argument with some of my friends, but cursive writing, that is by all means, I know, gone from traditional schooling here in the U.S.
I was taught that. Cursive.
So that's the thing. I was as well, and the question is kind of, are people still regularly taught how to write in cursive? Now, in the U.S., there's also this whole controversial thing about, or not controversial, but the conspiracy theory behind it that, the Constitution, all our old legal documents are written in cursive, and so if you don't teach anyone how to write it anymore or read it, they won't be able to know what their, all their things in the past are based on. Who says that?
Because they need a slap. Wow.
Conspiracy theory. Open conspiracy theory kind
of
thing.
Many.
Yes, there are many and ridiculous, but I have heard that one. I just kind of was like, what? But then I started thinking wow, there's a lot of kids that really have no idea how to read or write in cursive. And it's not like it's hard, but you start seeing their written, because there's so many kids today that don't learn handwriting as well as they should.
Right.
I mean, admittedly, my handwriting is terrible.
Oh yeah, mine too. There's
Well, I
Mine
can
too,
do it.
absolutely. But I
There's
know,
a
but I
reason
can do
for
it when
it.
I need to. I can still write a
Of course,
check. I can still.
Ooh,
You know?
what you just...
Okay. This is an argument. By the way, this is going to divulge into us all getting angry. Just FYI before we go into here. I think writing is obsolete and is not needed unless you want to do it. And I think it's a thing that some people can do. For example, cards and stuff. And I think it should be taught in primary school as a basics thing. But we shouldn't be expected to do it as a high school requirement. We shouldn't have to do classes in it and have exams in it. I think everything should be in the computer because that's how it will be in the future.
Well, I would agree that you don't need an exam in writing. I just think you need to have the ability to do it.
It needs
Yeah,
to
I
be
agree. The basic
it's-
ability, yeah.
Like you said,
Yeah.
a core skill that's taught. And so, while I agree that, but it needs to be in that primary school so that everybody has some basis that they can rely upon in case, heaven forbid, technology fails us.
Right.
And I say this because, Brew Guy, you brought it up specifically where you kind of mentioned in that it's like you could still write a check. There are a lot of people today who can't or never
that-
have and
that
don't
blows
know
my
how to
mind.
properly fill out a check in the United States. And while it's not necessarily as relevant today because we have so many digital or electronic ways of transferring money, it goes back to that whole thing of, but it's still a valid way of moving money, and it's something you can do without having to get online and do something. It's something where
Right.
you can hand somebody some piece of paper that is representative of a large sum of money without it being cash and still do commerce, right? And so unless everybody has their Apple Pay and is willing to
Yeah.
do their little bump type activity to pay each other through this means that can be tracked, by the way, everywhere instantly.
That's going to be the future. Yep.
It's
I
still
agree.
like it's the base way to identify who you are to somebody else. That's the way it's always been, right? I remember in high school one of the things they actually taught us at the end of I was taking accounting back then, and one of the things kind of as a fun exercise is that they got us to practice our signatures. So because and it's funny, so every time I end up signing something now, that always kind of comes to the back of my head because I now do it. You know, it's basically a reflex. So you do it the same every time.
Yep.
And anytime you're doing that, they will compare that to something that's on file to make sure that it's actually you doing the signature. So you know, there's still that aspect of it that you need to be able to do that sometimes just so you can. Other than, like you said, other than an Apple Pay or a chip flying around in the cloud somewhere, a way on the spot to identify who you are.
who you are.
But
Something,
identifying
other
who
than
you
your-
are is going to be done electronically in the future anyway. So
So we're all going to get chips installed right about here, and
I don't see what. I
You don't see
genuinely
why
think that's
not?
okay. Actually, I genuinely think chips are okay, and this is a whole different argument. But anyway,
Well, yeah, it goes
well, not
beyond.
that I hate them. I mean, that is true. It's a whole another argument.
Well,
before
yeah,
we go
that
any further, let's discuss this age gap here as well. By the way, because I think that's a big part of this. How old do you think I am, Brew Guy?
I would. Well, now that we've made jokes about records, now I kind of think you were. I would have probably guessed in your mid-20s there somewhere, but.
That's close. It's close. I'm 23 as of 7 days ago.
Oh, nice.
So-
Well, happy belated birthday.
Thank you. And yourself, I'm going to say mid-30s.
Oh, God love you. I am. In just about a little under 2 months, I will turn 42.
Okay.
Yeah, you
So I
see,
was
no, you
just 7
saw his
years off, that's
reaction,
pretty
right?
bad.
Not
You saw
bad.
his,
Not bad.
You saw his reaction as he was like, see, that's a kid right there. That's the youngin going like, I can't even imagine that age of 42.
No.
Oh my God.
It's more like it's more
18
like
years from now. Are you kidding me?
That's my whole life passing by again.
So much is going to happen. 18 years from now, I'll come back on the show like, hey, remember back when you were 25 and I was 42? Yeah, and I'm talking like this, and you kids today with your chips in your face and stuff. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, fantastic.
Now, we're working perfectly on a timeline where we got a request specifically from our friend Pusa because she said the respawn is kicking her in the bladder, something fierce. But it happens to be the top of the hour. So what we're going to do is take a break. We're going to play one of your songs for everyone to hear and get a little nostalgia out of. As I was talking about before, this is one of the ones I really enjoy. Sorry, I didn't find the one you were talking about, Ken. And so,
Oh, sorry. I could have said it to you. I've
no,
got
too late. So we're going to the break. We'll be back just after this. And Brew Guy, you're going to continue with us?
Certainly, if you'll have me, I'll hang around as long as you want.
All right.
Definitely.
In that case,
Glad to hear you.
yes, we're going to listen to "I Smile When I Gank," and we'll be back in just over 5 minutes. So with that, you're listening to Show X on VTWProductions.com, and we will be right back.
Send in your emails to showx@vtwproductions.com.
This show is brought to you in part by Audible. Audible.com is the leading provider of premium digital spoken audio information and entertainment on the internet. With over 85,000 programs from more than 1,000 content providers, including leading audiobook publishers, broadcasters, entertainers, magazine and newspaper publishers, and business information providers. Audible customers can also have their Audible content wirelessly delivered to their smart mobile devices daily, even while sleeping, taking the computer out of the equation. To find out more, visit vtwproductions.com and click on the audible.com advertisement on the left-hand side, or visit audiblepodcast.com/VTW Productions. New customers in the United States and Canada will receive a free audiobook download when they sign up via that link. audiblepodcast.com/VTW Productions.
You're listening to Show X on VTWProductions.com.
Hey everybody, and welcome back. So, as we're going to go forward, Ken and I are going to talk a little bit about what we've been doing this week, and then we will continue to have our discussion with Mr. Brew Guy. So, Ken, what have you been doing that's worth mentioning that hasn't been geeky this week?
Probably the time to actually think about what I've done in the past week. I did my the first time I've ever done this is work from home. I'm not going to go into any detail, but I managed to have 2 days of working from home, which was quite interesting. I'd like to say fun, but it was definitely interesting to try out. I don't like being home because I'm sitting here with my work laptop next to me, and I'm sitting on it, and I'm thinking like, I could just go do this because I'm home, this fun thing. And then you gotta say, no, you can't do these fun things. You're at work, technically. You're just at home, but at work, but also at home and at work. And you gotta try and keep that in your mind. So I managed it for 2 days, but I think in the future I'm going to prefer to actually go into work and stay there, because it just, having that at the back of your mind is not healthy for actually doing work. So I'm glad I've actually had the experience and managed to learn that. So it's quite interesting to see that side of things, because there's so many non-technical guys at my work who actually get to do that more often. They actually get to go have work from home because for reasons. So it's good to actually be able to try it out. But I did Lean Six Sigma training, so I did lots of corporate training things. So I now have the title of Yellow Belt Lean Six Sigma trained.
God, that's so corporate.
Very proud of that, I can tell.
Yeah. Beware of my training. It's gonna get you. Yeah.
Just say that all the time. Don't say what the training is. Just say beware of my training.
There you go.
I'll just go say. That's quite smart. Yeah. I'll just say I'm a yellow belt.
No, you really don't want to say that.
Yeah, that would probably be bad.
Yeah. All those things that get your butt kicked at any given time, that's probably going to get you a little more so.
Yeah, it might be troublesome.
So other than that, I had my birthday last week, and that was fun. I had a lot of good times, and it's kind of, should we mix our geek cred in with the dysfunction deviations here, Mr. Wayne?
Oh, we can. I mean, you're just telling me you have a light week and really don't have anything entertaining to tell us, so you just want to go straight to geek
it's
cred.
Just I kind of want to jump into those things, but it's okay. I can do it separately. Yeah,
that's all you have. See, I knew what you were doing there, Ken. Too bad. That just means I get to talk for a moment. So for me this week, not a lot of geek cred. Mine does kind of do the normal thing where it's on the edge, right? It's like, is it really geeky or is it just kind of geeky? Anyhow, so my big thing that I did this weekend was the Denver Zombie Crawl. So, it's October. It's the best holiday season of the year, which is Halloween season. Everyone. And this is an opportunity for me to have multiple costumes, because Zombie Crawl means I die and get to shamble amongst the living. Whereas in Halloween, I can still go do that and be whatever costume I like. And so the Zombie Crawl, huge thing downtown, starts in the middle of the afternoon, goes for multiple hours officially, and then continues in the night for people to party, drink, do whatever at the bars. All of downtown supports it. Big deal, a lot of fun. I'm in fact going to grab a link for everyone in the IRC, and actually there's one thing I do need to put with that too, which is we have not done the IRC thing for people in some time. So I want to tell everybody, hey, if you're listening and want to interact with the show, you can do so by joining the IRC, and just take whatever client you have, go to quakenet.org or irc.quakenet.org and go to the VTW channel in there, or you can go to the VTW's website, and up there we have our chat link, and you can click in that and join in through the web chat. You don't even have to download your own IRC client. And then you too can interact and tell us all kinds of wonderful things. So, I'm throwing a link in as well, and thank you, Stoner, for putting that into the IRC. This is for pictures I have taken from the zombie crawl, so everyone's welcome to go check that out. In fact, I'll put it in the Skype as well if anyone cares. But you do have to have a YouTube account because it's Flickr. But going in there, I dressed myself up all kinds of brutal and dead. And where last year I used prosthetics to try to take away my neck, make it look like I was bitten in my neck, and to cover up my eye, make it look like my eye was hanging out. This year, I used just liquid latex, makeup, and some cloth. And so, in doing so, I have these things because I ripped them off and left them here. So people who are watching the video chat, as well as for you guys, I have basically my eyepiece that when put on, covered my eye and basically made it look like my eye had disappeared.
Oh,
and it
nice.
Truly freaked people out. That's like
really
my
not nice, but
coup de my coup de grace.
that's excellent. Good job.
And then I have my neck piece.
Freaky.
And the
look
neck
at that
piece.
thing. Oh my god.
Neck piece essentially sat right here, and made it look like my neck had been torn open. And
really good.
I feel good about
That's
this
amazing.
year's because I got a lot of people who commented like, "Did you do that yourself?" And I'm like, "Yeah, this is nothing but liquid latex and tissue paper that I dressed up and fitted to my face," which is
that
all
looks awesome.
That's
fine
amazing.
and
Good
dandy,
job.
except for the one I did on my arm, which is basically like a slit wrist that I can't get into the wall very easily. Yeah.
Oh, look at that!
Is
That was amazing.
still on my arm.
Wow, dude, that's crazy.
Because liquid latex and skin or hair, they bind in a way that is not natural. And so for the past 12 hours or so, I've been trying to rip
that's hard
this
to
thing
watch.
off my arm, and it is pulling every hair along with
You've had it
it.
on for this whole time.
Oh!
Man up, pull off.
Oh.
Come on, let's see it. Let's see it. Do it.
Easy for us
Go
to
off.
say. I don't know.
No, that is not me. Just like Band-Aids, I do not rip them off.
Really?
Then you'd
Okay.
then you'd have a costume that's a little bit too realistic.
So,
Not at all.
I'm tempted for air's purpose, and I apologize to you, Brew Guy, but
No worries.
here you go, Ken.
Oh!
It's done. You did it. It's over and done with.
So,
that looked-
ladies,
that looked really
ladies,
painful.
you'll appreciate this, ladies. I just waxed my arm. There is a
Wow,
bare
bravo to you,
spot.
sir.
There is a
Bravo.
bare
Good
spot on
job.
my arm now where I used to have
Look
hair.
at that.
Good.
Oh my
Now
God.
you can feel those man points building up.
Ah.
Well done.
Call that geek cred or something. Anyhow, oh, wow, so fresh and so clean. Anyhow,
done.
so yeah, zombie crawl.
Give
so-
yourself a round of applause. You feel free to use the
Seriously,
drop in.
well done.
Feel free to use the drop in for that one.
No, I'm good. I'm good. Ooh, I do feel a little lighter now, though. But so anyway, I tend to go all out for my costuming, and this was an example. And I am quite proud of how well it did. And I scared the bejesus out of so many people yesterday that was my success.
Nice.
Two things I do in costume that make me feel good: pictures. Anytime people stop me and say, "Dude, I gotta get a picture," and then for the zombie crawl. Anytime I go and because this time instead of like last year where I went around doing the whole like moaning thing and in people's ears moaning or something, I didn't say a word. I was silent, and I was dressed in scrubs, doctor type things. So we also had masks.
Oh,
So,
nice.
nice bloody masks and everything. Oh, so much blood. And it's beautiful because the group I went with, we all dressed in scrubs and kind of got cuts and stuff. We all did latex. We went down to the train station to park and drive or take the train the rest of the way downtown, so we didn't have to park downtown. And we made a point of waiting to get bloody until we got to the train station. At which point we stood outside the cars and just were like flinging fake blood at each other. And it looked like someone had gotten murdered. Because we didn't just get it on ourselves.
Very
it was
nice.
all over the ground and concrete and stuff like that. And it's like, wow, we really should have had someone like lay down here. And that way when we done it, you could have had like an outline or something. But we did.
There you go. Lesson learned for next year.
Yeah, no, we were kind of like, that might have to happen. And so Oh man, that arm.
That's really cool. I'm actually glad that I got to see some of the pieces that you made. I have a friend who does the exact same thing. There's a big zombie crawl that happens downtown Toronto every year as well.
Nice.
And he's the exact same as you. Like, he does not kid around. Like, he puts he's put some pictures up on Facebook, and then, like, I literally just kind of, like, my eyes go wide, and it's like, oh, is that the same person? Are you alive? Is that? Yeah. Like, they do not kid around. So it's nice to get a little education just how hardcore you guys.
Well, it's one of my passions,
that thing.
And yeah, I really enjoy it. It's funny because Pusa is telling me put petroleum jelly on. Yeah, I know. This is why I still have an eyebrow, by the way, is because I did put Vaseline over my eyebrow before doing it. The stuff on my arm, I did not expect to do. I kept trying to blend the colors in, so I'd make a little lighter blend of, because go figure, they don't make liquid latex that's perfectly Wayne's color. And they make black and they make pale people. And so having to do that blend takes a bit of art that I had to keep doing, and it was kind of a mess. So I kept having to add more to get
mocha, no,
to get that light.
That's a great name, though. You should
cinnamon chocolate. Yeah, exactly. But so I kept putting more layers on, and so it got over to where I have hair on my arm. I did not expect to go that far, and I learned the hard way now that, yes, I probably should have kept layering. Anyhow, worked out great. I scared the crap out of a bunch of kids. I didn't say a word, but just would kind of... I do this thing where if there's a crowd, and there were 10,000 plus people downtown all at once. So like you were saying, mass amount of people. And so I would dodge in and out of them as I was walking through the crowd and make it so I was leading with my good eye. And so they would see only kind of a messed up face, but not really see it. And then I'd make a point of coming back and, like, boom, with the bad eye right in front of their face.
Oh.
So many people would, like, away from it, where it's like, that's a genuine reaction.
Right out. That's excellent. Good job.
So that was my bonus.
My friend who goes all the time, he posted a couple of pictures. He has a daughter. She's, I believe, 7 or 8, and she gets done up the same way. Just to
awesome.
really
nice. That works.
He's put a couple of pictures up there, and it's just like, wow, that's. It looks incredible, and it's also like I feel a little creepy right now. Yeah, damn, that's amazing.
Oh, kids are the best. No, there's a family that does it every year where they kind of camp out downtown around a planter where they can just kind of sit and watch their kids. Dress their kids in, like, great little zombie costumes and dead, and then the kids just sit there and scream at people for however many hours. Essentially, they stay there, and the parents make sure they don't run out, but they stay, like, right there, and anyone walks by, they kind of lurch at them and just rah! And they do that, like, all night. And so I'm just, this as a parent thing, I'm like, this is brilliant. You basically just dress your kids up, sit there and have a latte or something as you watch them scream themselves silly, take them home, and they pass right out and can't talk for the rest of the week. It's like, that is brilliant parenting. I'm jealous. But yeah. So anyhow, that was kind of my geek cred. It was nice because I had a whole group of us that did it together, and I got to see some of my other friends downtown that do cosplay and things like that. All very dead, very wonderful, good responses. Only had one person respond negatively where I scared their kid, and some lady was like, "You're scaring my child, back off." And I was like, there are so many zombies down here. What the heck are you doing here?
You brought a child to a zombie walk, and you're mad that he got scared.
Yes. Well, it's funny because almost every other parent that I ran into that their kid got scared laughed their butt off. Every other parent was like, "Oh no, he won't get you. Come around this way," and I'd go around that way. And they're like, "Ah!" The parents are just laughing.
Yeah, were you like, did you not tell your child that everybody is dressing up? This is not, this is not actually happening. You don't have to flee for your life or anything.
But I mean, it's Halloween. This is when we celebrate these things.
Yeah, that blows my mind. I can't even.
Yeah, no, but
yes.
I don't know what you guys do. For you, it's weird.
We keep it on the day. Same with Christmas.
Well, so for us, it's like we like to present as much time as we can from the last holiday to the next to basically celebrate whatever that holiday is. And so, although I think you guys, well, see, you don't do the things we do. I don't know in Canada if it's as bad.
Than you, that's why.
Well, because like in Canada, right? You guys just had Turkey Day. Right? You guys just had your Turkey Day, but for us, like, our Turkey Day comes up next month, and it's kind of we have this battle between Christmas and Thanksgiving, where there are already Christmas decorations in the stores and stuff like that, and for us, like, damn it, we haven't gotten through Halloween yet, let alone Thanksgiving.
That's the same up here, and that's kind of started now with I've seen more than a few lights start to go up, a few decorations.
Oh,
like, no, come on, let me get by. You're like, in the past, it's been more like, like right after Halloween, like the November 1st. It's everywhere.
Yes.
Absolutely
That's fine.
everywhere.
I'm
Like
okay with that.
flicking a switch.
Get this holiday over done with before we go into the next, please.
Yep.
That's all I ask.
That's fair. There's nothing wrong with that.
on.
Like this one at a time. But I will say that when it comes to Thanksgiving, the U.S. beats the crap out of us. Absolutely. You guys know how to do Thanksgiving properly. It is
Well,
a big
so-
deal.
Well, we
have
celebrated it.
Thanksgiving
Yeah. Well, so to say.
You should.
Well, yeah, you should be thankful that our countries are better. But,
Well, there were 3 of you.
well, considering you chose to be still part of the UK, you don't have anything to really give thanks of, do you? Well, you do, but most of your nation
I
doesn't.
do. I voted for the
sti-
Did
State-
you? I was going to ask you actually how that, how you voted and how you felt about the whole thing. But
Oh, we've had a couple of shows discussing it, funnily enough, and I had a couple other Scotsmen jump in the IRC and chat to me about it and say, "You're wrong, independence, freedom."
it got a lot of coverage over here. Just because hey, we are
Yeah,
part of the
but-
Commonwealth
Yep.
as well. But I'd certainly be lying if we all completely understood like the reasons why you vote yes, the reasons why you vote no. But
Well,
so
I'll try and give a very quick overview that's not biased. I'll try my hardest anyway. So the Yes campaign believed that the English government rules over the whole of the UK, which is of course Northern Ireland, Wales, England, and Scotland, and of course all the other isles, which are kind of part of some countries, some aren't. Anyway, that they take in too much money from, say, Scotland and Wales and Ireland and spend more in England than elsewhere, so it's kind of unfair is what they see it as. And they believe that if we were just independent, completely apart from the rest of the UK, we'd have a better defence system, we'd be better economically, we'd be better off politically, we'd have etc, etc, just so many things, and we'd have better healthcare, better education, so on and so forth. And the No campaign are often being cited as being a fear campaign because they were very much no, let's just stay where we are because if we don't, it might not work. We might not have an economy that works. We might break down and have no money like Ireland did. We might, our economy might fail and we might lose lots of jobs, for example, lots of government and army jobs. The whole army would basically cease to exist for some time and then a new one would be erected. So, like, millions of people would lose their jobs. And it was just a big argument which one is more likely to help the country more. And I voted with the safe camp, as it were, where I said things are fine as it is. We're a first world country and we're quite happy. Was the problem? Don't change things. Don't risk people's lives. Don't risk jobs. Don't risk healthcare. These are all good things. Don't risk it.
Right.
That was my point. So.
Well, I was
Anyway.
compared very heavily actually to I wish I could remember the year. It was quite a while ago now. But when Canada had a referendum about Quebec and whether they were
Really? I
going
didn't
to
know that.
remain. Yeah, it was a big deal. I remember sitting there watching it, and it wasn't as binding, I think, as yours was. It wasn't going to necessarily mean that if they vote yes, we want out, then it was absolutely going to happen. It would have changed things, but it was not nearly as binding because my understanding was that had Scotland voted for independence, then England had said this will happen. If that's what you
Ties,
want,
yeah.
then that's going to happen. So that's a much bigger deal. So, but still, I remember watching that referendum on TV, and it was intense because for a while it was pretty close. And I just didn't want to see my country broken up. I mean, even. There was a lot of things that the Yes camp in Quebec were doing that were making me pretty angry. But at the same, the bottom line is like the line back then was, my Canada includes Quebec, and
Yeah.
eventually the no don't leave side won, and I felt very relieved because much along your thinking that keep things the way they are. We're doing well. Canada's a good country.
Well, it's quite
Hey,
interesting.
no place is perfect, but So
Yeah, of course. There's always problems, but I don't see why we can't resolve within our current government rather than make our own one. Like with
Right,
hookers
so-
and blackjack.
that's right.
Hope I already got my Futurama reference there. But yeah, it was definitely interesting, and I'm kind of sad in a way as well because I would have enjoyed seeing what would have happened anyway with independent Scotland. But either way, whatever. As long as people are surviving, we all have jobs, etc. I think that's a good thing. So as long as we have the basics, I'm happy.
Nice.
Anyway, let's. Where were we? How did we get on to Scotland and independence? How did that happen? I think that was my fault.
Somehow we went from zombies to Scotland, which is pretty impressive.
I'm sorry for stealing away, Wade. That's my bad.
Maybe it's the Highlanders or something kind of cross-reference there. Or maybe it's just that morning after, after everyone wakes up after their haggis and beer or scotch or something all night.
Much like the Romans avoided Scotland, I'm sure if there's a zombie outbreak, the zombies would also just leave Scotland alone.
I don't want to go
The
there.
taste of whiskey and haggis is horrible.
Could you imagine it stale and dead? Oh.
We tried to eat their brains and just found a vat of whiskey instead.
Nice. Nah. All right. So that was all that wasn't geeky. So we'll transition over from that, and we'll officially talk about what little bit of geek we can, and then maybe some news.
I'm a geek. Are you a geek? Geek cred level up!
And in this week's Geek Cred, what do you have, Ken, that's properly going, and what have you been up to that's geek related?
Well, I don't know what I've been up to, but I know that Agrius SW has an email waiting in our inbox that I will read out. So Agrius SW is a long time listener of the show, and many of the shows on VitaProductions.com, and even WC Radio back in the day. I remember his emails from back then as well. Weekly as they are, we do love the guy. So, salutations once more, O great lords of X. 'Tis I, Agrius SW, again to share my week. In things geeky, my amazing, awesome, and loving girlfriend, Ambrosia Hartnett, has finished work on my Space Wolves, and they just look so epic. I will post a thread in the VCW forums later today and next week with pics so everyone can see her amazing work. Moving on to more geek, Ambrosia and I are planning to go to a local brony event hosted by Equestria LA next month. Grand Galloping Gala Nightmare Night Masquerade Ball. We are in the process of gathering accessories to ponify ourselves. Oh jeez. As Shining Armor and Princess Cadence, our favorite pony couple.
I'm so happy you get to read this one, Ken. Just to say, it's so happy.
Excuse me one moment.
I was gonna say, I wish everybody could see his face while he's reading it. It's
This is why everyone, you should be watching the YouTube stream. It is so much more interactive.
Finally, on to what I call epic cred. Thank you very much for that. Thank you for ending that. Last week, I got to go out to the desert with my bro and go shooting for the first time ever. I started off small with a 5.7 pistol and then worked my way out to my bro's arsenal, the AR-15, 9mm handgun, the .45 handgun, the AK-47, classic, and the 12-gauge shotgun, and then saved the best for last.
Oh, no.
My bro's latest addition, the M1 Garand. Assuming I'm saying that right. It has always been a dream of mine to fire off to fire one. To fire off to fire one, and last week it was a dream come true. The gun was smooth and accurate, although my accuracy needs some work with 4 out of 8 hits with the first clip. That's not bad for first time.
That's not bad at all.
No, of course. I can now check off one item on my bucket list. Objective complete. Congratulations. Please, sir, play the thing.
Oh, listen to you.
Well, I can do it.
This is true. All right.
Objective complete.
Thank you very much. I actually have a qualification in firearms, actually, from the British Army. So there you go. That's something most Brits don't have. That is kind of cool because we don't go near guns unless you join the army or the OTC or whatever.
Awesome.
Thanks for reading this out on air, good sirs. Looking forward to comments and feedback on the forums when I post pics. Oh, we're looking forward to that, definitely. P.S. Mr. Wayne and Ken, have either of you fired any awesome guns, like the M1 or anything like that? Well, for me, it was the SA... What's it called? I can't remember the basic... I got a freaking license and I don't even remember it anymore. MA95, maybe? It was the basic British firearm. British Army firearm.
Look at you. As you're trying to figure out what you're shooting, yes.
So I've got a qualification in that. Oh yes, the... no, I don't know.
Anything else besides the pistol, essentially?
I've shot a handgun, several shotguns, a couple rifles. I don't know the names of them or anything. I'm not too into weapons, to be honest. I've always had the discussion that if I was in the US, would I have one? I always say yes, because while I say that I don't think it's smart to have weapons in a country open to everybody, if there are, you should have one as well. That's basically the basics of it for me. Yeah, so that's as far as it is for me. How about yourself, Mr. Brew Guy? Do you ever fired at any weapons?
The only weapon I have ever fired, I think I was in grade 7 at the time, and I was in the school I was going to had a cadet program. And so I couldn't tell you what kind of it was. It was a rifle. I remember that because you had to work the
bolt action on it.
The bolt action, yeah, exactly, to get it in there. So, And from what I remember, I did okay. I managed to hit the target a couple times, and I remember my shoulder was sore for about 3 or 4 days afterward. But that is, to this day, that's actually the last time I've even seen a weapon like that, believe it or not. So my knowledge about these things, other than what I see in the latest action movie, is pretty low.
And what I remember to work out is the SA-80A is the firearm I fired a lot of, and that was a beautiful weapon actually. Moving on from my original, I did enjoy actually firing that because it is used by the British Army for a reason. It works in the desert and in the Arctic, anywhere it'll work. Actually, my officer at the time actually told me that it works better when it's in dirty conditions than when it's fully clean because it's made for that. So I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah. So I remember actually one experience I might share as well. Don't know if I'm supposed to, but I'm sure it's fine. I was on a firing range at one point. I'm sure it's fine. There's nothing secret. I was on a firing range at one point. It was my first time shooting real firearm, like real bullets from this weapon anyway. And there was like another 20 of us in a row. Lying down on the floor in a sort of prone position, holding it properly, looking down and firing. And then when the guy said we fired, right? One guy was jammed. There's one guy on our team, and he went, "Oh, it's jammed." And we were just told how never to face the firearm anywhere else than down the range. And he said, "It's not firing for some reason." He turns it round towards the instructor, fingers still on it. The instructor dives to the ground. And our instructor who's just patrolling dives on the guy, like, "No, you moron! What are you doing?"
Yes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, firearms just accentuate stupid.
Yeah, no matter how many times you tell people that, there's going to be one person who doesn't know. That's why I don't think you should give a whole country firearms, FYI.
Yeah, no, unfortunately we have some of those people around. Oh, man, that's so
every
awful.
country really has them, unfortunately, yeah, the U.S. seems to get more than the rest of us. But
well, we have a lot of people, so...
That's right, you have like 10 times our population, so there's, that's kind of natural. But.
And several thousand of ours, I'm sure. My Stoner says, "I've been to a shooting range within a military base. It is not live round, just taser targeting, but apparently I'm just as accurate as a fully trained soldier, but I consume half the rounds." That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Whether you do it in time is a different matter as well, though. Bang! Anyway, sorry. That's pretty cool, Stoner. I know it's better than I did anyway, so congratulations for that. Right, back to the email. So thank you for the email, sir. We very much appreciate it. And all the best to yourself and Ambrosia Hartnett. This is from Ambrosia, our Arius SW, level 90 Human Paladin Guild, Civil Warcraft, Shattered Hand US, and Thaddeus, level 21 Worgen Warrior Guild, Silverwind Crusade, Moonguard US. The Paladin of Ambrosia Hartnett. I always think that's the sweetest thing, by the way.
That's
like the sweetest thing. The Paladin of Ambrosia Hartnett.
And he has been for years. He's been a Paladin for years. Those two keep continuing strong, which is so good to see.
It is.
That's awesome. And Ambrosia is a fantastic name, I have to say.
Oh yes, it is. It's a good one actually. Yeah, I never really thought about that. So my geekiness in the past week. So I've got some good news.
You have a chinchilla-proof headset now.
You may recall, not quite. So the story behind this, Mr. Brew guy, is that I'm a PC gamer and I love gaming. It's my favorite hobby, and so I've got a nice monitor, nice keyboard, nice PC, nice mouse, etc. And then one day my Razer Naga, which is a £90, $150, $160 mouse, was chewed by the chinchilla that my wife just got.
You fluffy rat of electronic death.
So
probably better served in a stew.
So as you can imagine, I was a little bit mad and a little sad, and so for my birthday, we're kind of with the reception for our wedding coming up, because we got, it's a kind of long story there as well, sorry, but we got married in January and we decided to have the reception in Scotland since she's American. So anyway, we're having a reception this December, but because it's quite pricey, we've been quite low on cash, saving for it and the likes, trying to be safe and trying to save money for when Mr. Wayne comes through and doing all the fun things with him. I got this mouse instead as a replacement, which is a like £12 cordless gaming mouse by TechNet, which is okay, but it stops working like every 5 seconds randomly by itself. So, when you're playing a game like League of Legends that's extremely dependent on having, extremely fast reactions and getting things done in a timely manner, when it stops working for 1 second, that could be the difference between death and living, or killing your enemy or not.
That's a wireless mouse? I'm actually surprised that if you're a big League of Legends guy that you would go with the wireless.
I didn't choose it.
Oh, good point. I never thought of that.
But it's chinchilla proof.
That's the reason that she got it, and that was quite smart, to be fair, and that is quite a good idea. But my wife, being the amazing person that she is, and really thoughtful and loving, she has decided to purchase me let me get the actual link for it as well. So it's called a Death Adder Chroma.
Yeah.
So this is one of the highest DPI mice ever produced in the world. This is I claim to be the world's best gaming mouse, apparently, but it's the company saying that sells it, so who knows? Of course. So this is actually from Razer. Razer is the same brand I had before. It's quite a cheap mouse in comparison to my previous one, actually. Here's the link in the IRC. It's £65, which is about $115, $120. It's quite a nice little mouse. It's got 10,600 DPI, which is insane.
Because you need that for WoW.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. Thankfully, I'm going to be using it for League of Legends, not WoW. So that's cool. It has 16.8 million customizable color options, but whatever, I don't care about that. But it means I can make it match my cool keyboard and stuff, so that makes me very happy. But she gave me the good news about just 2 hours ago, saying, "Oh, by the way, I just pre-ordered you that for your birthday as a late birthday present to replace that one, so enjoy." I was like, "I love you. So
what she's saying is,
cred.
please don't cook my chinchilla when she's out.
Actually, I think it's more along the lines of, please get me a second chinchilla.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Really? I cannot wait for that to happen, Ken. Just for the sake of the show, I cannot wait. That'll be a whole episode, just so you know.
Well, it's probably going to happen, I'm afraid to say. Anyway, so other than that, in terms of geek cred, I picked up Shadow of Mordor. Yeah, so I never used. So the first time I saw Lord of the Rings, I didn't like it when it first came out. I was quite young and naive, and since then I've seen it the whole series twice, and I've grown to absolutely I fell in love with it completely. So I really enjoyed it, and I thought to myself, a game based on Lord of the Rings, that could be bad, it could be good, who knows, So I decided to wait a little bit, and after I saw it on the front page of Steam for ages as a top seller, I was like, maybe I'll check this out. And I saw it had 9.5 and 9s all across the boards out of 10. And I thought, that's amazing. I think I have to get this. So I picked it up and I started playing it. And it deserves those ratings completely.
Yes.
It is beautiful.
Did the first 5 minutes kind of blow you away? Like before you got the whole pre-story and what happened? It's just like, oh my god, this is dark,
a little
man.
Bit, yeah, it's dark.
They're not messing around.
No
wonder
you're kind of blown away by the start, but I have a few bad things. I'm going to touch on those first. It's not many, but the first one is not entirely the developer's fault. I can't run it on ultra settings.
Aww, because you're
sad.
How old's your
get
PC?
You upset about console gaming, but I have the same game on the PS4, so I do not have that particular issue.
That's because it's always on low graphic setting. Don't worry. I can assure you.
Well, no, it's funny. It's funny because you say that, and I don't have the article or anything on it. I might have. One of the things I recently was reading, because I'm in a mission to build a PC for my friend Lieutenant Fork, I've said in the past, for under $600 for a gaming PC, because she was saving that money to replace an Xbox One. And I told her, no, you need to move over to the PC Master Race now and play all our games. We have Steam and like cookies. And so you need to come to the dark side. And so she was like, if you can keep it under 600, we can do this. Well, I just saw Alienware Dell is putting out their essentially Steambox or their equivalent, their little Alienware 1 or something like that. And they did a comparison online between the PS4, Xbox One, and this Alienware, playing multiple games to show at their max settings or what level settings they had to maintain essentially the same consistent frame rate as the consoles, and show the comparison in graphics. And what they have for a $500 and something PC destroyed or kept up with every console out there, and it was a Intel i3.
Really?
Yeah. Whoa. With an NVIDIA card in it. It was like I want to say it's like a 7 series NVIDIA card, and like 4 gigs of RAM, or so. Huh. And as that, it was keeping up with everything on it. And they did specifically. The reason I remembered it was Shadows of Mordor. and Assassin's Creed of Mordor. And in doing so, they specifically showed that they were able to keep up with that. They did it with Watch Dogs, and they did it with.
That's cool. You see, the one thing I always say about the difference here is while PC definitely beats it, and I have no doubt beats it in technical specs easily, the thing with consoles that PC are tried to get into kind of is sitting on your couch and playing a game. That's something that I've never been able to do properly with my console, and I can't truly enjoy it because I prefer what the PC gives me over the console, obviously, because I play it. But I see why the appeal for that, and I do wish it was sort of comfier to play PC gaming than it is currently. That's the one thing I can do.
It can be.
That's a tall order, man. It's tough. Well, I mean, comfy couch. End of argument. I mean, you can't argue with that, right?
I come home and sit in one of these disgusting chairs.
Good lord.
What I just heard is that is self-inflicted.
Yes, exactly. Jeez.
Saving for that reception, guys. Saving for that reception.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man.
I can assure you I'd have the most glorious gaming PC chair ever.
I was going to say, where I sit myself, this is like pure elegant comfort here. Leather and cushy, high back on it. I mean, this is where I spend the majority of my time.
That's a worthy investment. I absolutely agree with Wayne. I mean, I've actually gone through, my chairs tend to break a lot, but I tend to do about this at least once a year. I think I end up getting a chair very much like Wayne's, and it's worth every dollar you spend.
Oh, no, I agree. I used to have one back in high school, but not now.
I say, you spend your money where your butt is. Simple as that.
Take care of your butt, dude.
This is why
it's a meantime thing. Yeah,
this is why my PC is so. This is why my PC is so massive, right? Well, I have this ridiculous rig that I run behind me because this is where I spend all of my time. You know,
I totally understand that.
I have a nice computer or TV that has a computer behind it, but I was gonna say you can still do that. You just need an HDMI cable off your computer, and
that's
you
where
have the living room experience.
That's where, see, if looks didn't really matter and you could get away with that without the wife getting upset, then you'd probably be okay.
That's kind of the other big part. Thank you for bringing that out because I can't say that.
Aesthetics.
I read your mind there a little bit. I was just trying to help you out.
Yeah, definitely. So, how did we get onto this one again? We were talking about chairs somehow.
Shadows of Mordor. That's right.
Oh yes. So, I'm thoroughly enjoying the game. I said I had some problems with it. Yes, it's the fact that my PC can run Ultra. I can run it in some high settings, not even all of them. It's still really pretty and it's not slow whatsoever.
Exactly.
But when I bump up to the 6 gig requirement on the Ultra, my graphics card can't control that. I've only got 6 gig of RAM as well, so I'm kind of screwed there. So not much I can do about it. So I was like, whatever, I guess I'll do. I was really sad about that. However, it's still beautiful, still thoroughly enjoying that. The other bad thing I'd say is within the first 10 minutes of the game, you're given a little bit of the first tutorial on combat kind of thing. And they sort of hinted to you how the combat works. And then you're thrown into the main game and you have access to everything. All of the icons for all of the quests, of all of the side stories and all of everything is on your map and you see them all and you say, what am I doing? Where am I? Is this Mordor?
Tell me where to go. I need an exclamation point so I can go toward it.
The first thing I did was jump off some tower. I was like, I'm gonna die! And then I survived. I was like, oh, thank God I'm alive. Oh, that thing's massive, that huge creature over there. I'm gonna kill it!
Yeah, that probably didn't go well.
Yeah, but hi-ya! And then it went... and I died. And then I decided, okay, well, clearly I shouldn't attack that thing. So I jumped off and did this quest. It was quite a far away one, because I wanted to explore. I think the game was probably designed so the closer ones are easier. So I went to some far away one, and I fought this massive captain dude who was like power level 12 times more than mine. And he also went... and then something unique happened. Instead of me just dying and respawning like every other time, it showed the screen of that guy who just killed me, then it showed me him leveling up.
Yep.
Yes.
And I was like, what?
That system is awesome, I do have to say. I mean, I've experienced that a couple times where I've actually been killed more than once by the same guy. Yeah. And coming back, and he's like, didn't I kill you twice already? This is a waste of my time. I'm like, so it really gets you into the game, and it's like... He's like, welcome back, escape artist. And you're like, yeah, exactly. Oh, we're going to do this again. All right, I got 2 minutes. Fine. So when that guy went down, yeah, the amount of satisfaction was very high. I felt
yeah.
Hey, I don't hear you
great. So-
talking anymore. Oh, that's because
Yeah.
you're on the ground. That's right.
So no matter who your current target is, when you press escape, it shows your nemesis. So it's whoever's killed you the most. So you're always like, that guy, I'm gonna kill him. I hate that guy. Honestly, other than the fact that it kind of threw you in, and the fact that it's got very, I'm not gonna actually say it's a bad thing. I'm kind of sad that my PC can't run it. But the only bad thing is it kind of throws you in a little bit too much. I'd say rather than tutorial, just limit your access somewhat for a little while. Give you a couple main storylines, get used to combat, how the moving system is.
What are you trying to say, Ken? Because you have to take some ownership for your gameplay? You're disappointed that it's not
ownership.
that it's not on your
about being a man
iPad
in
and
the
it
game.
can't just walk you directly through the game? You're not just playing an interactive story?
Would
you prefer it was The Walking
I
Dead?
kind of felt the same way when I first played. I mean, it was just you're a little overwhelmed. There's just so much to do, which is not necessarily a bad thing because you have the freedom to do whatever you want.
Of course, I like that. The only problem is you don't know what they are.
Yeah, so I mean,
there's 7 icons in the map, and I don't know what any of them do. That one looks like a hammer. I'm gonna go for that. That's how it goes.
Yeah,
and then you get destroyed. So
it's kind of interesting plateaus. 'Cause like you said, the first couple of times you're gonna get your butt kicked pretty badly. So you build up some nemesis pretty quickly, but then you start to get a couple of abilities like, oh, I can do this now. So which kind of feeds into the hey, I didn't have this time the last time you killed me, so guess what's gonna happen this time?
Yeah, exactly.
So it really builds up, and it's interesting that one thing that Wayne said that like he said, Assassin's Creed of Mordor. While it is it's definitely very similar in the way a lot of the mechanics work. Again, to me, it isn't a bad thing because that game's so good. But it's funny when I was reading some of the reviews for Mordor, I found that they were really high, like you said, 9.3, 9.5. They were really, really good. But some people took a lot of points off for that exact reason.
Which makes no sense, right? Because
I don't get that at all. It's like it's the same style. It's not, the gameplay is similar, but it's not Assassin's Creed. I mean, they give you the three ways of doing things, which you can use as openly as you wish. It's not
even
the
then,
same.
it's only kind of 3. I mean, each one sort of mixes with other options as well. You can make your own little army later on. You can take control of lots of beasts.
Yeah, when that starts happening,
orcs
it's pretty fun. Like all of a sudden, when you get the combat brand is one of my favorite things. So when I have all of a sudden 10 guys are surrounding me, I make a couple of moves, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, the 4 guys are on my side, and it's all of a sudden it's the odds are a lot more even. And
definitely.
It's so I'm really, really happy with that whole system. It's a blast. Even how epic it is when you first fight a war chief for the first time. I love the way that no matter who the war chief is, there's this amazing chanting of this guy's name that's just this super guttural,
cool.
just like, and so guy could have like, I think there was one guy, he's like Bagabook or something like that. So which sounds like this ridiculous name, but then all of a sudden you have these guys who are like Bagabook,
You hear 1,000 orcs chanting his name, and you're like,
wow, I might die. This is going to be kind of I'm going to die to Bagabook. Crap, this is terrible. So yeah, anyway, it's I really, really enjoy it. I'm glad you're liking it too.
Oh yeah, It's a lot of fun. I really am enjoying it. I would highly recommend it to anybody who's interested. It's got mixes, as you're saying, from many genres of games. It's got quite a lot of combat. It feels like a sort of hack and slash mixed in with stealth elements, and there's some like time challenges and stuff. It's really got a little bit of everything, so it's not just like here is the Assassin's Creed game. It's like here's the Assassin's Creed element, here's the thief element, here's the the Devil May Cry element. And definitely, I would say Devil May Cry is actually a really good a comparison, because you also have these sort of magic abilities with your character, which is really cool, but they're not overpowered either. So it's a nice mix. I would highly recommend the game if you are interested. Go check it out. So I've checked out that, played that a fair bit. I've tried playing League of Legends, and I'm trying to get promoted. I am trying my hardest to get promoted, guys. I try my hardest.
But Ken, you're the worst of your friends, even though you've been playing it the longest.
Not any longer. Not anymore.
You got one person that. If you want to say that I'm worse, then I'm totally fine with that, because I am terrible. I've hardly ever played. So if you want to, use
there you go. You understand? I know Brew Guy. I know Brew Guy. So therefore, I am not the worst.
That was not the plan. That was my third reason to have you on the show.
That's right.
Haha, I'm better at League than you, probably.
Oh God,
yeah. If you're ever interested, I can give you a recruitment link. Anyway, No, there's a couple of guys I play with who I kind of taught how to play, and then he taught his friends how to play, kind of thing. And now we're all like max level and playing ranked games together. And I'm terrible, so they got in a higher division than me during the sort of initially when you do ranked games, you get it's
during
like
the placement rounds,
for you. A sort of guess. It's like you're kind of running with this level after these 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
They were all silver 5, and I was bronze 3 initially, so I was like 3 divisions lower than them, and that's kind of embarrassing considering I taught them all. But one guy, one of my friends who started off in bronze 1 has now gone down to bronze 2. I got promoted to bronze 2, and I'm now number 1 in bronze 2. I'm top of that league now. I'm just about to topple over to the next in the bronze 1. He's at the very bottom, and I'm like, screw you, guy! I'm beating someone in the world. Take that.
Yes, Ken, of
Vindication
the
at last.
I say of the 55 million accounts that are active with League of Legends, there's at least one person who you can recognize as less than you.
Definitely. So I'm actually.
That's all you need. It just takes one.
I'm in the top 11% of League of Legends. Thank you very much. You can pretty much call me a pro. I'm gonna get like sponsors soon and stuff.
Yeah. Well, let me know when that happens. Other than saying that Show X sponsors me. Oh wait, that's me sponsoring me.
Speaking of sponsoring Show X, just while I finish off my Big Geek section here, we have our first ever person to sponsor the show on Patreon, which is absolutely fantastic. So our show, while we're not exactly profit-based, we do have costs in running the show. We have a website, we have a file server, we have Sam Broadcaster, we have software we use, we have multiple things that all cost money. And at the moment, we are all paying for it because we currently enjoy it. Me and Wayne and the other people on the show, on the station, are all paying for it because we really enjoy doing our show, and it's kind of like paying for our own hobby, and that's cool. Like whatever, we're totally okay with doing that. But if you guys were willing to offset the cost even a little bit, that would make us so happy. And we've got one guy doing it right now, $20 a month he's doing, and that's over and above, and we really appreciate that. I'm not going to say your name on air in case you don't want to, but we really appreciate that anyway. So that's patreon.com/showx. You can sponsor with whatever you want a month from $1 up. So that's like 60 pence in UK money. It's not a lot, but you know what? That little bit from 10 people would be $10, you know? And that's insane. That's a lot of money, and that can help completely offset so many of the costs, and we'd really appreciate that. So if you are willing, no pressure, if you have the money spare, we would appreciate it. Thank you very much. Anyway, enough of the spiel.
Now that you're pandering, yes. Or
So,
panhandling.
Mr. Brew Guy, what have you done in Geek for the past week? So we've got 9 minutes left, and I'd like to get Wade
you
have
kind of
some-
stole my Shadows of Mordor there a little bit, because I had to explain that a little bit, but that's cool, that's all right. But I'll go back to the base, and really, it's since the new patch came out with Warcraft, I've been doing a heck of a lot of that. So
Nice.
more so than I actually thought I was going to, because I was very curious again how, as playing a monk, I was really curious how the healing was going to change. I mean, it's funny, whenever a major patch like this comes out, you've read the patch notes, you kind of understand what's going to happen, but you don't really get it until you get your hands on it. So once I did and started, of course, you immediately go to the training dummies and start whacking away and testing things out, and really with the whole healing change again, I talked about it before, so I won't go into it verbatim, but I was thrilled. Like, I was really, really thrilled, because I had a hard time healing with it. I mean, I enjoyed it, but I didn't feel that it was good enough that if I was put in a situation with healing where I really had to, know my stuff, I was kind of afraid that just because of the way the class worked, I wouldn't be able to pull it off. There's just that doubt in your mind.
It's good that the patch can give you that as well, because then you have to learn the game again in a way, and that can give you something new, Even
Absolutely.
if it's kind of an invisible wall there, it can give you something more that you can enjoy, because then you got to master something again, It's not just doing the same thing again.
Everyone's kind of starting from ground zero again. So even though we've had new people come in again, and they're learning it too, you're learning at the same time. So it really kind of keeps everybody on the same level, which is very good. So there's been a lot of that. Once I got the healing sort of figured out, I had avoided the whole flex rating. I don't know if you guys have gotten involved in that at all or ever seen it, but basically one of the changes they did with Mist of Pandaria expansion was they invented this flexible rating where you can now have 8 or 12 or 15 or however many you want, and the content will scale depending on how many people there are. So they've taken this to the next level in 6.0, and they now actually have a full-blown finder to put groups together for. They've changed the names a little bit. So instead of flex rating, flex is now called normal. What used to be normal is now heroic, and I think what used to be heroic, I think, is mythic, if I remember right.
Okay.
That's confusing.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, just kind of ignore flex. Flex is now normal. Instead of flex being a specific thing, it's now the way you raid.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I guess they had a lot of success with it, but I was still kind of intimidated to get involved with it. One, because I wasn't confident enough in my own healing abilities to do it, and I didn't want to wait like an hour in a queue to do DPS. But then once the patch came out, and I really gained a lot of confidence with how that works. I felt I could get involved in a normal raiding situation where you have to pay attention to what's going on, and so really this last week I've been doing that, and there's definitely been a share of fails because a lot of people are coming back and they're figuring out things as well. Plus there's been a lot of bugs too, so people have been like I said before, they've been hot fixing every day. But
there are always with these kind of patches anyway.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's part of the territory. So I know some people get upset about it, but I don't understand why. I just say these.
How dare you bring out new things? I hate.
I know.
New stuff.
How dare everything work absolutely perfectly the first time? I don't get it. It's like.
So try and make your game profitable. How dare you?
Exactly. So I started doing that really for the first time, and again, we had a lot of people dying and a lot of things went a bit crazy. But the one thing that they've added is that if you manage to get to the end and kill Garrosh Hellscream at the end. On a normal or higher difficulty, he will drop an heirloom weapon. Ooh. That will scale with you all the way up to level 100.
Of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So really, really cool idea. So I wanted that. It's like this is going to happen. I'm gonna, throw away my intimidation, and I think a lot of other people did too. And they're like, screw it, I'm getting this thing, so I can rock it out when the expansion gets here.
Definitely.
Yeah, so anyway, I managed to acquire that yesterday, and it was a fantastic feeling. I felt good. I healed well. The numbers are still weird because I'm used to, certainly when you're doing damage, I'm used to doing 200, 220,000 DPS.
And they rescaled all the numbers in the game so that it's more reasonable numbers.
Yeah, they literally reset everything. So right now, if you're doing 10k DPS, that's big. That's actually pretty decent. So,
I'm glad, to be honest, it's going to event, because otherwise it'd be in the millions by now, and that'd be just...
they just keep adding zeros.
There's no question it absolutely had to happen. So while it's an adjustment, it's a good one, and it's you have to sort of readjust your thinking and with the way numbers are working. So you're still getting used to that. It's only a weekend, but overall I've found the changes to be really fun. They've done a lot of streamlining as well, so they've taken away a lot of abilities that weren't very useful. So
and they've kind of combined some of it, right? They've combined a couple of abilities to kind of be one.
Yeah, like some things are passive now, or they've limited it to a certain spec. They've done that a couple things with the monk for sure. They've reorganized things a lot. So basically, the bottom line is there's less buttons on your bar.
That's strange.
Yeah, it is. It's a little weird, but at the same time, it's kind of welcome because it was getting a little redundant.
Silly.
There was a lot of
the two bottom ones and the one at the side.
Like I had like 4
40,
bars at one point, like with everything I had, and it's just getting half of which I wouldn't end up using. But at some point, for some reason, I still have to have it on there just in case that one situation comes up.
Yep.
So I can click that particular button. But
where you can't
a lot
find
of that
anyway, because there's too many. Yep.
Exactly. Where is it? Not too late. But yeah, so they've gotten rid of a lot of that now. So I'm really enjoying the way they've streamlined things. Plus, the way that basically you kind of have to try again. You can't just I can't just face roll things the way you used to anymore. So
can't just go solo every one of those instances anymore. And they're going to re-release Molten Core as a true 40-man again at level 90. What? And
that's like going to be that's their anniversary thing. I think they haven't released that yet, but I think it's coming out really soon. Now that
it should be part of the full. With the next piece with the expansion, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that just because, I was there tanking a 40-person Molten Core, which sounds, absolutely abysmal now to even think of doing something like that. How we got through that to this day, I don't even know.
Yeah, back in the days before Find a Raid.
Yeah, absolutely. When you actually had to gather 40 people.
I remember that. I remember running around Ironforge back when I was Alliance. I'm sorry, I know I was. And
He was
trying
young.
to find all these people for it, you know? Even if you had a full guild, you'd be like, oh, so-and-so's computer died, or his internet died, or
Yeah, something
whatever.
would happen, and-
it can be such a huge pain in the ass. So yeah, totally.
I really don't know. I really don't know how we got through some of that stuff. But I will say that when we killed Ragnaros for the first time, it was probably the most epic feeling I've ever had playing any
I
game.
remember that.
I mean, that I wish to this day that we had a recording of the Ventrilo we were on, because it was, it was bedlam. It was absolute bedlam. Just 40 people screaming at the top of their lungs, including myself.
Yes.
I'm sure I embarrassed myself quite heavily that day. But what a feeling. It was amazing. So
All right.
yeah, really, that's other than Shadows of Mordor and killing lots of orcs and have you tried? Oh, have you tried the photo mode that they just added for?
Oh, I
Shadows
heard
of
about
Mordor?
that. I heard about it, but I haven't seen anything in it.
I haven't
It's
touched
very
it,
cool. So now I don't know how this works on the PC, but basically on the PS4, at any time, no matter what you're doing, you can hit the it's L3 is the technical button. I think you hit that, and it will pause it at that exact moment, and then you can rotate the camera, move it around, zoom it in, do all kinds of stuff, and then capture that screenshot and share it with people. So you can get some pretty epic stuff going on. Like if you time it just right, like as a sword is happening to go through an orc's
There's
head. or something
arrows
like that,
next to your eye, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There's some really cool shots. I posted one, I think, on my Facebook the other day of I was riding on a Graug, and the Graug had bent down and was eating one of the orcs. So I
that's
timed
really
it
cool.
just as it bit down, so you just kind of see the
Nice.
head kind of explode. And it's just like,
Very nice.
look
Very
at that. I
nice.
think I'll share that with everybody I know.
Awesome.
And so with that, thank you very much for having us. Thanks very much for being
So
on
basically,
the show.
we've run out of time, and it's
It's been
time
like-
for us to pass things off to Casually Hardcore over on Alpha Geek Media, and allow them to start taking their show and let us know what's been going on with the casuals last week. But
their
it's been
name
a
now?
wonderful conversation. It's just been great fun having you on the show. Hopefully you've enjoyed being with us.
Definitely.
I've had a blast. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you everybody to the IRC for the questions, and I'm really blown away by the interest. And hey, anytime I can come back, I'm happy to do that. Thank you again. It was a really
And,
good time.
we look forward to seeing any more music in the coming weeks, months, or years, especially any REM. World of
Everybody
Warcraft,
gangs, write
you
it
know.
down. It's gonna
Yep.
happen.
That sounds great.
So just before we go, do you have anything you want to give a shout out to, like Twitter or Facebook or anything?
Nothing specific. If you want to get a hold of me, at BrewGuy is my Twitter. BrewGuy@gmail.com if you want to fire me a note. I'm a pretty easy person to reach. If you just want to say hi or got any song ideas or anything, by all means, please say hello. I always love it.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for hanging out with us, and you're always welcome back anytime you want, sir. It's been great to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was a great time.
All right, with that, you've been listening to Show X on VTWProductions.com, everyone. Thank you very much, and we will catch you again next week. Have a good time. Bye.
Goodbye. See you in the next zombie. Good night. Also, guys.